Recently they released the new trailer for the third season of the Marvel series titled What If, and for those of you who haven't seen anything about this series, I'm going to explain a little bit, but later in the video I'm going to explain the connection this series has with Power Rangers. The What If series is a Marvel animated series that uses the same characters that have appeared in the movies and also some that we haven't seen yet. The idea of this series is to try to tell stories that would have happened if the characters had made some different decision in their lives. This causes many different stories to be created, and although each episode seems like a separate story, the reality is that all the stories come together in the final episodes of each season. The best thing about this series is that it is an animated series, which means that they can create any story without having to use such a high budget as happens in movies, since all those actors get paid a lot of money. I am mentioning all the benefits that this series has since it is one of the ideas that many fans have proposed for Power Rangers, since the producers can achieve many interesting things with a small budget. Later we will talk about the positives and negatives of creating an animated series for Power Rangers, but first let's go to the main point of this video. In this first preview that we were presented of this third season of the Marvel series, something very interesting happens that is very similar to Power Rangers and basically Tokusatsu. Several heroes are using robots for battle, but it is noted that they do not use them in the same way that Iron Man uses his armor. Apparently, the heroes are inside the robot, and these robots are quite large. The most interesting thing is that the leader of this team asks the other heroes to join the robots to transform into a giant robot. Where have we seen that before? The robots are a clear representation of the Zords, and the giant robot would be the Megazord, which is apparently fighting a giant monster. This battle could be the first proof for Power Rangers that Tokusatsu can work in an animated series aimed for an adult audience, as this Marvel series is not aimed towards a child audience despite being animated. We know that there are other animated series that have already used Tokusatsu and giant monster battles, but right now Marvel is the franchise that is reaching a more diverse audience. We must remember that Tokusatsu is not consumed by everyone, and there are many people who do not even understand it. It is for this reason that many people who are not used to watching Tokusatsu will be able to be a gauge when watching this battle of the giant robot, and in this way, we can know if people are ready for a Power Rangers animated series to reach a more diverse audience. All of us who are Tokusatsu fans are going to appreciate a Power Rangers animated series, but we must remember that the idea of rebooting the franchise is to reach more people outside of the niche. If the Power Rangers franchise manages to captivate many people who are not part of the Tokusatsu niche, then there is a great chance that the franchise can be reborn. Franchises are still a product, and companies should continue to look to generate revenue from these products. These revenues do not come just from the love of the fans. These revenues come with planning, ideas, innovation, and looking to generate more money than they invested. In order to achieve all this, they must reach more people, since a good production requires a very large investment, and in order to recover all that money, they must reach a wider audience. Unfortunately, the number of Power Rangers fans is not enough to be able to recover all the investment Hasbro makes in an evolved Power Rangers project, and if they want the franchise to be for adults, then they must invest a lot of money. Power Rangers has managed to survive 30 years thanks to all the fans who have supported the franchise, but it has also been thanks to the little investment of money that the owners of the franchise have had to make. As many already know, since the beginning of Power Rangers the producers bought the action scenes from the Japanese series Super Sentai. Then they only had to film the drama scenes with the American actors, and these scenes were cheaper. With this move, the producers were saving a lot of money, and then they recovered all the investment easily by selling a lot of toys. This formula worked for 30 years, but little by little Power Rangers was declining. Although many have mentioned that this was due to the lousy job they have done with some seasons, the reality is that this is not the most important thing. If this theory were true, then Dino Fury would have lifted the franchise, as they had 3 excellent seasons, and despite this, they stopped the franchise for the first time in history. The main reason for the cancellation of Power Rangers is due to low sales, as even though this franchise is still selling toys, they don't have as many sales as they used to. This has nothing to do with Power Rangers, this has to do with the change in technology, since today video games are the kings of children's entertainment. Adults are the ones who buy Power Rangers toys to collect them, but this is not enough to build a franchise. In addition to this, we must also add that now digital platforms are the main media for series and movies. This means that there are also some economic changes in that part. Because of all these changes, then Hasbro had to make a decision, because if they continue down that path, the franchise is going to disappear completely. The options out there is to do a reboot by creating connected series and movies that are geared for an adult audience, but that the whole family can enjoy. Similar to what Marvel does, and this also includes the challenges that this type of project entails. The biggest challenge is the economic part, since Marvel took a risk many years ago with the first Iron Man movie, and although we know that before that there were other movies, this was really the one that started the organization of this whole universe that we know today. In this movie they invested millions of dollars, and if it had failed then it was going to be a big loss. But the most important thing is that possibly we would not have had the Marvel Universe as we have it now. This is the first risk that Power Rangers is going to take, and although the 2017 movie was the first attempt, I think they can do better now. It is for this reason that the other option is to create an animated series, since this way the money investment is not going to be so big, and they can include iconic characters. They could even use the same characters from Mighty Morphin and create a version very similar to the actors. This would make a huge impact on the audience, as we would all quickly connect with these animated characters, and they would bring all those 1993 characters back to life. The disadvantages that an animated series has is that they do not reach a very wide audience as easily, since many people are not willing to watch animated series because of the erroneous thought that it is only for children. Although this thought has been changing little by little, the reality is that there are still many people who think this way, and that is why with an animated series it is very complicated for Power Rangers to reach the level it deserves. I honestly think that Power Rangers can compete with Marvel if they manage to create live-action series and movies with the same quality of stories that they have created in the comics. Write in the comments your opinion about an animated series like this video, and subscribe for more Tokusatsu on Power Rangers.